Hi, my name is Megan Burtis. I'm a first-year political science major, and I'll be analyzing Blue Cathedral by Jennifer Higdon for Group 1. This piece was actually written in 1999, so it's just barely a part of the 20th century period. This period included a lot of experimentation in music, but also composers like Puccini and Rachmaninoff kept a more traditional style, which you can see more in this piece. Another interesting note is that this piece is a symphonic poem, meaning it tells a narrative through music. Specifically, it tells a story of life and its ups and downs, and it's in memory of Higdon's brother who passed away from cancer a year before she actually wrote the piece. The medium of this piece is entirely orchestral with no vocals. It starts the trade between bells and strings, but as the piece progresses, the rest of the orchestra joins with melodies played across the sections. And among these are the flute and the clarinet, which are meant to represent Higdon and her younger brother. And in the piece's program note, she writes, "Because I am the older sibling, it is the flute that appears first in this dialogue. At the end of the work, the two instruments continue their dialogue, but it is the flute that drops out and the clarinet that continues on in the upward progressing journey." Melodies are passed around the orchestra, and many of these are disjunct with larger intervals. Higdon uses these jumps to continue her focus on the ups and downs of life, and she does this again with the key of the piece, which is mostly major, but there are portions where they're clearly minor as well. And the melodies change throughout, and new ones are continually introduced, but there are also melodies that Higdon revisits from the beginning of the piece, or the A section. This piece is definitely polyphonic. Even though it begins simply and then gradually becomes more complex, it's never monophonic. The melodies are almost always interacting with one another. This piece was written less than 20 years ago, so the similarities between it and the music of today are fairly clear. The narrative element of the piece is seen in much of today's music. Like on the radio, most songs tell a story. And when I first listened to the piece, it reminded me of a movie score in some parts with the many climaxes, and also the way that a section, specifically the percussion in this piece, is suddenly introduced is something that I hear commonly on the radio, and it really isn't that different from modern bass drops if you think about it. So that was my analysis. If anyone has comments on rhythm/meter, that would be great because it's still something I'm not 100% sure about, and I hope this was helpful.